Okay, guys, third question here. This is an interesting one, and this one is kind of just a general question. Which sports team across the four major professional sports do you just never have any confidence in? Regardless of how well they're playing, who do you just say, well, I know things are going well this season, but I just have no faith that they're going to keep this up? Nate, who is that for you?
I hate them so much, and I never have confidence for them. It's the Toronto Raptors, who are the third best team in the NBA since the All-Star break. They're the third best team in the power rankings currently in the NBA. They're the second best team in the Eastern Conference, and yet still, no one is even giving them a chance to go to the NBA Finals, let alone I've heard maybe 2 out of every 10 people giving them a chance to go to the conference finals. I was talking to a giant Raptors fan this past weekend, and he said he still fears they're going to lose in the first round of the Pacers. And they're still the second best team, and they're 2 games behind the Cleveland Cavaliers led by LeBron.
All right, there we go. Nate, nice succinct, I said the word wrong, succinct argument. There we go. Gino, who do you never have confidence in?
The Cleveland Browns.
Oh, that's an easy one.
Yeah, it's easy.
I mean, I took the bait.
Yeah.
I took the bait.
Chalk. Gino Cutri.
Yeah.
All right. Why?
You need an argument. Just say
they've
Cleveland
been
Browns.
Yeah.
They've been back in the NFL since 1999.
Yep.
And in the past 16 years, they have done absolutely nothing to gain anybody's
Hey, remember when Derek Anderson was a quarterback? That was fun for 4 games.
Look, I'm a Rams fan, right?
Yeah.
I've seen some pretty lean
really?
years. I have not seen years like the Cleveland Browns. Just starting from the draft, internally, just from A to Z, just Cleveland Browns. You never have confidence in that organization. Partly maybe because the division's strong as well with the Steelers, Ravens, and the Bengals, but just the Cleveland Browns. I'll keep it short, and then we'll go.
Tim Couch. Ooh,
Yeah.
those Browns. All right, Nick. Here we go.
Sticking with going against the 2 other sports, I'm going to go to the NHL here, and I'm going to say the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh,
For obvious
Edmonton Oilers.
reasons, they've had 4 first overall picks in the last 6 years alone, and they have still, since they lost in the Stanley Final in 2006, have not gotten out of the basement of the Western Conference. A couple years they might have got third last in the West, but
Have the Oilers had 4, or has it just been 3?
there's been 4.
Has it been 4?
First overall
So
picks
Nugent
last.
Hopkins,
Nugent
Hall,
Hopkins, Hall,
Eberle, and McDavid.
Yakupov.
Eberle was not first overall.
No.
Eberle was not.
McDavid, Yakupov, Hall, Nugent Hopkins.
There we
Yakupov
go.
was
Thank
4,
you.
wasn't he?
No, he's number 1.
Yakupov was 1.
But
Wait, he plays
being
like a number
said-
4 overall pick, but he was 1.
that being said, yes, I agree. Yakupov should be traded. But that being said, also,
He plays like a second round pick.
yeah.
that being said as well, they're coming up now to a year again. They're still in the basement. They could win this 2016 lotto for Austin Matthews. They have a chance of getting that as well.
Wait.
I mean, that would be
wait.
5.
Please no.
Nate.
That'd be 5
Never
to
know.
7 years. Their team clearly they need goaltending. They need defense. They need a strong. That's where they really need help, and they haven't done any deals or anything to make that stronger. So I think no matter what it is, I think the Edmonton Oilers never have confidence in, no matter how they're doing garbage.
All right, entertaining. We've got 3 different sports, 3 different teams. Nate, why do you have some confidence in the Cleveland Browns and Edmonton Oilers?
I'm gonna reverse that. I don't have confidence in them.
Then why did you have less confidence in the Raptors?
Because the Raptors are a better team, but still no one says they're gonna make the playoffs. You know the Browns suck. You know the Oilers.
The Raptors are making the playoffs. They're like 1 game away from clinching the playoffs.
Sorry. They're not gonna go far in the playoffs.
I think they're going to make it past the first round, but
Yeah.
second round is going to be a gamble, just like any.
But they're unproven, but they will get through the first round.
You know that these
Yeah.
teams suck. You know that they're trash. You know the Browns are the worst franchise in professional sports history since the Vancouver Grizzlies left our Forbidden City in 2001. But RIP. But and with the Oilers had a shit bucket for management for up to 2 years ago.
That's a great term. Shit bucket.
Shit bucket.
They had a terrible management up until a couple years ago, and now they're starting to get back on a better track.
Remember when Mac T was the GM? He's like, the coach gets fired. It's like, yeah, he's got his MBA. Let's make him the GM.
Exactly. They have terrible management in Edmonton, so you can't expect them to do anything. But with the Raptors being the second best team in the Eastern Conference right now, and no one picking them to be, no one even considering them a top team in the NBA, that's when you have no confidence in the team. That's when, regardless of everything they do, absolutely no confidence in them whatsoever.
Gino or Nick, rebuttal.
So I'll go Gino first. Go ahead.
No, Nick, you had your hand up. Go.
Okay, so first of all, with the Raptors thing, just this year, the Raptors team is a lot better already than the team there was last year. Kyle Lowry is in way better shape. He's been putting up way better numbers than what he was last year. That's what I'm saying about that. With the Oilers, like you said, with better management, their team this year, they still have so much potential with all these first overall picks, yet they still fucking suck.
How many games has McDavid played this year? I'm not like
I know it's been like 30 something.
37.
Yeah. But I'm just saying. What the thing is with Yakupov, like you just said, everyone's saying like he's a poor playing player, right? Like they got to get rid of some guys and get core players on that defense to make their defense and their goaltending stronger and build back up, not keep drafting these forwards and keep building up a first and second line for scoring. You got to build a defense and a goalie that can backstop you to a fucking playoff spot first of all, and possibly to a Stanley Cup final again. Mm-hmm. But
with the Oilers, they have to let go of guys they don't want to let go of, and they have to understand that when they let go of those guys, they're probably going to succeed in their new spots because of the change of scenery. But they have to realize that it's just not working with what they have to let a couple guys go to bring in defensemen and goaltending to make the overall team better. They're loaded up front, and they probably will be for 10 years, but you can't win a championship with this forwards. You need the back end.
You got to get rid of those first guys to make, like, you have to, like, let go of them. They're just holding on to that.
Not getting Seth Jones was a big hit.
That was a big one.
Not getting Seth Jones. Like, they offered up Nuge for Seth Jones. Unfortunately, they got outbidded by Columbus with
Johansson,
excuse me. That was a big. That would have been huge for them. They're too top heavy, and to your point about the management, just a gong show upstairs like the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns drafting. These are first round picks: Manziel, Whedon, Gilbert, Mingo. The list goes on and on. These are like
fair, they kind of just got unlucky with Manziel. He was a tremendous player in.
No. So. But that's the thing about the Raptors. The Raptors have a former Executive of the Year winner in Masai Ujiri, who many people consider the best GM in basketball, and you still have no confidence in them. You still do. No one thinks they can advance past.
Drake would disagree.
Okay, I can
if the Raptors advance to the second round this year, they'll all get shut up. They have to prove it just 1 year. If they prove it this year, they'll all shut up.
I don't think Gino said. I think it should be the same thing with the Blue Jays, man. The Blue Jays make the playoffs this year. Everyone's now Blue Jays fan. They're huge. Raptors get past that first round. I think it's gonna be the same thing. Raptors are gonna become Canada's team, and they're all gonna be confident in the Raptors.
I don't think this. I think it's higher than the second round. You said if the second round, all those people get shut up.
That's gotta be the minimum.
I think it's conference finals or bust for this Toronto Raptors team.
That's for expectations. They're the second place.
And
they're getting Amari Kittle back too.
And there's not a chance they're gonna do it.
Not a chance, right? But
not a chance they're gonna do it.
I'll tell you right now, though, if the Raptors play the Bulls in the first round, they're done. And that's when...
If they play the Bulls, if they play the Pacers, if they play the Hornets, who are 14-2, I think they are, since the All-Star break. If they play any of those three teams, they will lose the series. The Raptors, you don't have confidence in them. You're saying they get to the second round just because you want me to lose.
I have confidence in the Raptors.
No, I'm saying they're going to pass the first round.
No one has confidence in this team.
All right.
You're talking to cynical fans, though. About the
I'm talking to a guy that grew up in Toronto and is the biggest Toronto Raptors fan.
We're talking to a diehard Warriors fan, all right? Remember that.
Okay, guys. All right. Well, we've gone on long enough about this.
Bruce Willis.
First off, Nathan, I'm proud of you today. You came, you wore, usually Nate wears a Blumberg-esque attire, so I don't know if you've ever watched Recess.
These button-ups.
Yeah, some button-ups, but I don't know. I expected Nate to kind of just not look so clean cut today. It's good, Nate. I'm very impressed. And your arguments were very clean cut. And you really, the entire 5-minute segment was just everyone talking about the Raptors, your team that you're talking about. And I think the reason why Nate wins this round is because Nate said that he brought up a really good point. Who's a team that who no matter how well they're doing, you just never have confidence in? I've never seen the Browns do well, except the Derek Anderson thing. Edmonton Oilers. I mean, I guess
they won Stanley Cups.
They have won Stanley Cups. But I'm talking
since
since our generation.
One of the other panelists also backed up my opinion. I believe that got him a point in round 1. So.
Yeah, but I'm the host of this show, so I'm giving the point to Big Nate. Nate
I am playing on protest because there is not consistency, as you can see with our judge. So.
Well, we're just doing this on the fly, Nick, so you can go fuck yourself. All right, so here we go. Question number 4. To recap the score, it is 2 for Gino, 1 for Big Nate, and 0 for Nicholas. So, Nick, you better get 2 in a row here, otherwise you're donezo, man.
Well, I just gotta fight for one, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta get more than Nate. So, here we go. It's very,
Shouldn't
very,
be that
very,
hard.
very,
Shouldn't
very,
be that
very
hard, yeah.
tough thing to accomplish. Okay, guys. So, big point of controversy right now in professional sports is the issue of tanking. Tanking is something that everybody's talking about in the NBA. The Sixers are it's obvious they're tanking. I mean, the NHL, the Leafs, it's obvious they're tanking. No matter how many times Mike Babcock says, we're trying to win every single game. We're trying to play a 200-foot game, and we're definitely trying. They're tanking. I'm sorry. All these teams are trying to tank. How do we solve this problem, Nate? What's the method for fixing this?
I think every team should be involved in the lottery, and the disparity between percentages shouldn't be that high. And I think all teams should have the same percentage chance, and every team should be involved in the lottery. Sure, that might end up with the Chicago Blackhawks getting Austin Matthews, which would put the NHL in an incredibly tough spot.
I'd be a Blackhawks fan.
Yeah. Right away, everyone would be a Blackhawks
Right
fan. But that's the best way. That's the best way to do it. And if you weren't to give them all the same percentage chance, you would give the last place team 10% chance, and you'd go down from there. But every team should be involved in the lottery.
Wow. Okay. Controversial indeed. Nick, what do you got?
Honestly, I'm saying you literally cannot actually find out if a team is tanking or not. No matter what you say, if Toronto might be saying they're trying to win every game, or the Sixers, you can't just know a team is trying to tanking. A team could just suck. Okay, the Leafs just suck. That's just what the question is.
It's okay, Gino.
He's a Leafs fan. They do just suck. They're just not as good as other teams in the East. Same for the Canucks right now, or they're tanking. That's what they're saying. As a Canucks fan, I hope they keep going to the basement of the West. I want them to get a good pick. You just can't find out if a team's actually tanking unless a GM or a coach comes out and says, you know what? We're actually tanking, guys. We want our team to suck, so we get a first overall pick. Unless someone actually comes out and says that, you can actually determine if a team is tanking or not. Although it looks like a team might be, you can't. There's no method to pick up on. You can't really fix a problem that you can't actually prove is happening in sports.
Gino.
Just quickly, Leafs 5-2-1 their last 8 games. Okay, 5-2-1. So
Let them keep winning.
Right?
Let those Canucks get in there for that first overall pick, baby.
Oh, man.
with the issue on tanking and the draft lottery in the NBA, the NFL is just you finished last year just picking first overall.
MLB, same thing.
MLB, same thing. In the NHL, the draft lottery, they changed the crossover this year, right? It changed the thing. It's actually a very fair lottery. You have a 20% chance of the first. That's not a lot at all. 20% chance. Buffalo last year had a 25% chance. They still didn't get Connor McDavid. Thankfully for them, the worst they can do is second worst, and they got a great consolation prize in Jack Eichel. But this year, 20% chance. That's 2 out of 10. I think it's a very fair lottery. If you come in last.
All right, so here we go.
Yeah,
So
I just have a quick question.
Yes.
What are you arguing, and what's the difference between the two of you? Because you didn't say anything. You just talked about what tanking
I'm saying
is.
a method you can. There's no method to fix a problem that you can't actually prove that is happening in sports. No one can actually physically go in and say, yeah, this team's tanking. Like 100%. No, for a fact, they're tanking. You can't punish them for just sucking.
Okay,
You
so
can't.
you don't have a solution, and you don't have a solution either.
No, my answer to the question
Is to keep it the same.
is that the NHL and the NBA, their lottery system is fine the way it is.
So you guys are arguing the same thing. Just let me come up straight with that, right?
yes,
Yes,
that is
they are.
correct.
Yeah.
Because and now Nate, as I'm sure you can figure out, does some work behind the scenes to make sure that nobody has the same answer. But I decided to switch things up and let Gino and Nick argue the exact same thing against you, Nate.
But
So
also on Nate's thing about saying every team should have a chance, I disagree with that. Just for the sake of a team like the Blackhawks were to get first overall pick, you're just stacking an already stacked team, and it's just going to make teams like the Oilers, like the Leafs, keep sucking, and they're not going to. No fans are going to have any hope
So-
if they're not getting these new players.
Are we going to get a
into
point
the-
each if we win this round?
you guys get a half a point each if you win this.
Do I get 2 or do I get 1?
You get 1.
Okay,
But I
1.
mean-
Okay.
But in that way, if you make the playoffs, you get that chance to compete for what everyone's trying to win, the Stanley Cup, whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
You have that chance to win what your team played for all year. So that's why I think in the NHL, for argument, those 14 teams that don't should be the only teams that are in that draft lotto. So the way they have it right now for the NHL draft is fair. It is fair. But the question was with tanking, that how you fix a little controversy with tanking. You can't really fix a problem.
Yeah,
that
I'll
you
change my
can't.
argument for argument's sake. All right.
Oh, okay.
Trade deadline, right? I think you play 62 games after
Yeah.
till deadline, so you have 20 games left.
Yeah.
If you're a non-playoff team, from the deadline till April 9th, that you have 20 games.
Mm-hmm.
Those non-playoff teams, the team who wins the most games, that shows the most promise, should get the first overall pick.
Okay, what about that ninth place team?
Well, they're what do you mean ninth place team?
So you got 1 through 8, and you got that.
If they miss the playoffs,
you got
But you're saying to the trade deadline, a team could be in 9th, maybe 1 point out of
Exactly.
being.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happens? What happens hypothetically?
Obviously,
Okay,
that team is going to be a pretty good
hypothetically,
team.
Yeah.
Montreal Canadiens are in 9th place,
Yes.
hitting the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Carey Price comes back like 2 games after
Yeah.
that,
and then
all of a
go
sudden they
12
go
and
on a
0.
tear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Say
Well,
they
they
win
got
all,
Austin Matthews.
say they win all 20 games, and
well, then you
they
compare
make
the
playoffs.
winning percentage from the first 62 games, the winning percentage of the last 20 games.
But then
and
you're
see
coming
how
back,
much.
you're punishing teams that just suck. Like, you're just punishing teams that actually just
I was trying to get
suck.
that F-bomb out of you, Nick. You just
Okay, fucking suck. Like, you're punching teams that aren't good, and I think that's the unfair part of it. It's like, I'm sorry, what it is, the Oilers, they just fucking suck. And if you're gonna punish a team like that because they didn't win X amount of games before the playoffs,
So you're
Okay,
saying
for example-
you're saying if the Oilers keep sucking, they should be able to keep getting picks until they can turn it around.
well, it's like if they win the draft lotto,
Yeah.
yeah.
The only way to dissuade it is to give every team a chance. You go from the last place team with a 10% chance at it, and you go down 9%, 8%, 7%, and then you go to half percentages. You go 5.5% chance, 5% chance.
To be clear,
4.75%
Jordan,
chance.
I think the NHL and NBA lotteries are fine the way they are. How it's from 20% down to 1% for the 14 missed playoff teams
Yeah.
in the NHL, for example. So you said like teams just suck, right?
Yeah.
So let's say in the first 62 games, the Oilers have a 25% winning percentage. That's
Right.
pretty awful, right?
Yeah.
If they have a 28% winning percentage, they went up by 3%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just from 30 to 14, you just see who had the most growth. And from there you judge, and then from there you give them
From the trade deadline?
from the trade deadline, the last 20 games.
But
You
then-
give those teams a chance to prove themselves in the last 20 games.
rebuttaling that point is now you're gonna see teams say like
They're gonna
you're gonna see teams that
play
not
possum. Yeah.
They're gonna see teams also hang on to these good players. Like they're like, oh, I want to trade this big gun because maybe if we win these games in the last, we'll get first overall pick. We have the best growth. Instead of getting these big trades to teams that are Stanley Cup like contending teams, right? So I mean, then you're gonna see a even more boring trade deadline if that is the case. No one's gonna go these big guns, and they're gonna hang on to them just in order to win a draft pick.
Okay, so Gino, you by declaring that you were separating from Nick.
Well, I'm trying to make it 3 arguments
Okay.
here, yeah.
I thought the half point thing would have been really funny if you guys against Nate, but we'll stick with it. Gino's got his own argument. So this is interesting. Nate, I disagree with you. Good effort. I'm glad that you tried. That's good. That's important.
Disappointing.
Yeah,
honestly.
but
Just like my real dad.
But as Nick brought up, if the Chicago Blackhawks get Austin Matthews. I mean,
I'm not watching NHL anymore.
yeah, and it's not just. Here's the thing too, and it's random as well. So they could get Austin Matthews. They could get the Blackhawks could get 2 top 5 picks.
A 2.5% chance is still a chance, and
It's
that
still
should
a chance.
not be in the lottery.
It's still a chance. Dude, it's still a chance. It's still a chance. I think ideally, if we're gonna go with your direction, there should be some sort of magic formula. Once every 30 years, every team gets the first pick. And it goes all around in teams. It's sort of like the Chinese, like you're the dog in the
it's a
Chinese
wheel.
calendar.
It's a
It's a
wheel.
wheel.
Yeah,
It's the
a
same
wheel,
thing. It's
yeah.
a nice wheel.
Yeah.
It's a nice wheel.
When you get Bob
And-
Barticum fucking spinning for us.
Yeah. And then so when it's year of the rat, the year of Brad Marchand, the Boston Bruins get the first pick. Year of the dog. I don't know. If
The Coyotes.
Ryan
Coyotes
Kessler, Ryan
get
Kessler.
it. Yeah, Ryan Kessler. You know how.
Sorry to Kessler if you're watching.
Yeah.
Of course, Ryan Kessler's definitely watching this. He's a big fan of
He is,
the
yeah,
Sports Fights
yeah.
Roundtable on YouTube.
I cheer for you when you're in Vancouver. Now you're on Anaheim, you're dead to me.
So Nate, I'm not going to give the point to you.
Understood.
Gino, I like the effort.
Even though I made the
but
only
you know
effort,
what?
but
I think
whatever.
that Nick's point. I think Nick's
How
point.
is he?
I think Nick's point
sorry,
is the
sorry,
best.
sorry,
Nick's
sorry.
right. He's
Should have
right.
stayed with Nick on the half.
Nick,
Right.
here's what
Trying
Nick
to be
brought.
different.
Here's the
Trying to be
thing I
different.
loved about Nick's
You're
argument.
at a half point.
Here's the thing that I love about Nick's argument is Nick said, if you suck, you suck. There are some teams that just flat out suck, and until you can
I
get
said fucking
good,
suck, but
whatever. We don't
John's
need more
parents are
expletives
watching.
on this show. Yeah, exactly. So I like that argument from you, Nicholas. I think it was a good idea to, if you suck, you should keep getting these picks. If the Oilers keep screwing this up, why are we punishing them for
It's honestly
for screwing
easier
it up?
for the 13 teams in the West.
Exactly.
Let them keep having it.
Let them keep going
If they
at
want
it.
to keep getting these first overall picks, stay in the basement.
All right, let them stay at it.
Go for it.
Maybe come up with some method where you can't get 5 first overall picks in over the
Or at
course
least
of
maybe
10
3 in a
years.
row.
Yeah, or 3 in a row or something. But I'm with Nick in his argument, and Nick gets the point. All right, guys, that brings this part of the Sports Fights Roundtable to a close. We've gone too long for this edition, so make sure you tune in next time for the rest of this fight to find out who is going to win, Gino, Nick, or Nate. My name's Jordan Parhar. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you then.